Hey everybody, Nathan Rich here again. I'm back at Chaoyang Park in Beijing. This is not the same day that I filmed the other video. This is a different day. If you are walking around in Chaoyang Park someday and you see a very handsome, very strong guy with long, flowing, beautiful hair, that's not me. But I do want to say to everybody first, thank you very much for your support. I actually considered giving this channel up recently because of the issues that I mentioned in the previous video, but thanks to everybody's support and helping push this channel into being something better, I just have a really renewed sense of determination and frankly pride. So thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. Anyway, without further ado, I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about a recent discovery about COVID-19 and Spain. Recently, I made a video in which I pretty clearly said that according to the facts, COVID-19, the outbreak started in Wuhan, and that the virus itself had originated in China. And a lot of people were saying to me, hey, you know, that's not necessarily true because we don't have all the facts yet. Just because that's the first case or that's where the first case was discovered doesn't mean that that's where it started or that that's where the virus originated from. And in some ways they were right. I had to really think about that though, because my thoughts are always that we need to follow the facts on things, and facts at that time showed that the virus had come from China. But interestingly, it doesn't really matter what I think about that because now the tables have turned, and if we follow just the facts on a timeline, we find that whereas we previously thought that the virus had originated in Wuhan, then we found out it seemed maybe it had come from Italy, or maybe it had started in Wuhan and then gone to Italy. But recently it turns out that this virus may have started in Spain. Now, I know what you're thinking, that sounds ridiculous, but Spain has discovered the virus that causes COVID-19 in its sewage system from water samples dating as far back as March 2019. For those of you who forgot the timeline, that is months and months and months before anyone in the world had ever noticed that this disease or this virus even existed. They're still working on confirming that, but it's interesting to note this discovery for a few reasons. First of all, if this is true, it blows all the conspiracy theories away. Second of all, it's interesting because it gives us a very clear example of the burden of proof and the weight given to such a claim. You see, if this claim is true, it kind of wipes the board clean and we have to start all over again. So that means that they have to be very, very sure. Even though they've already discovered it, they have to basically do more sample testing and really make sure. So even though they have very strong reason to believe it's true, we still collectively have to say that there isn't clear evidence that the virus started in March of 2019. We need to actually confirm it, and that's going to take time. So another thing to think about when you hear this clear evidence phrase that's used so often, this is a clear example of when evidence isn't clear enough to be called clear evidence. So this really changes the way that we think about facts, because as we get new facts, our description of the truth changes. Will we ever find the real, honest-to-God truth of the universe? Probably not. So all we can do is chase the facts. And currently the facts say that the COVID-19 outbreak started in Spain, then eventually moved to many other countries, including China, where China first detected it. Please do not go on a Spain lied, people died campaign. Please do not blame the Spanish top-down government for their intentional hiding of this evidence and this information from the world. And do not blame every death and every illness and case from this disease on the Spanish government. The Spanish people have already suffered through this disease, and again, we're not here to determine who on earth should be blamed. We're here to save lives and to do our best to stop this disease from spreading. I rather thought that would be obvious. So this is just a very quick video to talk about this because it's an interesting piece of information that I've added to the timeline as unconfirmed, by the way. But I want you to also notice nowhere, even on New York Times timeline that was released right after this, nowhere is claiming that this is definitely true and that Spain did something wrong, etc., etc. Everywhere in the world is saying, well, that's very interesting, but that's not clear enough evidence. We need that to be proof. And I want you to remember that, because the next time you hear some weird conspiracy theory or some little fact about China, you may notice that the same requirements for evidentiary quality may be missing. So in pursuing the truth, we must go from fact to fact, and we don't have to sit here and try to find people to blame. We can just work together and try to defeat this thing. Maybe we'll be able to find the origin of this outbreak at some point. But in the meantime, we need to confirm each fact, even if it has to do with China. Sorry, everybody, we can't just say, oh, something happened in Spain. Well, that needs a lot more research. That's not confirmed. Oh, something happened in China. It's definitely true. Definitely. Right? We need the same standards. So when somebody tells me that something did or didn't happen in China, or that it started here, or whatever the rumor is, even one study saying it's true isn't necessarily enough. To the degree that it's a contentious, political, controversial claim, it needs to be backed up by even more evidence. Anyway, I've got a lot of new videos coming up. I am going to be watching this Spain situation very closely. But thanks again, everybody, for contributing to this channel. If you do want to keep this channel going how it is, you can, of course, go to my Subscribestar, Patreon, public WeChat, or PayPal, and you can contribute directly. Anyway, look forward to some interesting videos coming very soon to you. And thank you very much, guys, once again. I really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. 谢谢。